Bill Clinton in the Epstein files. The Epstein files released by Donald's DOJ include over 100 references to Bill Clinton and only two of Donald Trump. It should also be noted that some documents that were released by the Department of Justice in their electronic publication of these documents, some documents were retracted, and those files included hundreds of pictures, and they were somehow erased from those files and were taken off the public domain. These files released were over 95% redacted. The DOJ also released pictures that were not part of any Epstein investigation, like a picture of Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, and Bill Clinton at a fundraiser with Michael Jackson's own children. Social media and independent media sources reported on this and confirmed it, that the picture that they were publishing by saying that they were part of the Epstein files were actually not part of the Epstein files, and they were public picture of Bill Clinton with Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, and his kids. This goes to show that there's something corrupt happening with how Epstein's files are being released, and there is a political twist to it. And nobody is defending Bill Clinton. You know, people commented on my YouTube videos saying that, oh, you know, Clinton is doing this. So are you not going to talk about Clinton? Of course we're going to talk about Clinton. When Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut was asked about what happens if there may be names of Democratic leaders and Democratic influencers, and Chris Murphy's response was, so what? And my response is the same thing. So what? Yes, of course, Bill Clinton should be looked at. The released files only account for only less than 1% of the materials the DOJ has, however. Representative Massey has called this a violation of the spirit of the law and the letter of the law that was passed recently. Ro Khanna and Representative Massey are preparing impeachment documents against Pam Bondi. But notice who is absent from all of this controversy: Donald Trump. And it is by design that they have not released information that has Donald Trump's name on it. But they can't deny it because there's Donald Trump in so many pictures that they had to release some pictures with Donald Trump in them. And this is by design. Whatever happens with the Epstein files now is all up to Pam Bondi. When she is challenged in court by a party with standing, and I don't know who that party would be, or subpoenaed by Congress, she will play the ongoing investigation card to say that redacted portions are relevant to ongoing investigations. Recently, Scott Jennings said that Epstein files were about the Clintons. And that may be the direction Donald's regime wants to spin the Epstein narrative, while Pam Bondi defers the legal requirements of the Transparency Act while she conducts her ongoing investigation, for which she needs to redact most of what she releases to the public, and for which she can take as much time as the investigations require. Perhaps Bondi is investigating Clinton, or perhaps not. Nobody is going to tell the American people of whether the DOJ is actually pursuing current investigations based on Epstein materials they've had for years. Nobody is going to tell us the truth, at least not from Donald's regime. So the Epstein thing will hang in the periphery of every story coming out of this regime. And by framing it as a Clinton scandal, Donald will attempt to change the narrative to Democrats being the ones who are the party of pedophiles. He'll try it. He'll fail, but he'll try it. For millions, the scandal of Clinton possibly being part of it will consume their political understanding, and they will stop at that. We're in a dark political place where the basic truths we build stories upon will be under attack. I will make no claim that Bill Clinton is role model quality, and I reiterate that Bill Clinton should be looked at for if there were any victims who come forward and claim that Bill Clinton abused them. But to claim that the Epstein files are about Bill Clinton and nobody else, when Epstein dealt with hundreds of thousands of influential and rich people, is an absurd claim that will draw attention away from Donald's failing regime. It's just one more way of Donald Trump to delay the Epstein files release and for him to change the political game, or at least try to attempt to change that narrative. Because that's all Donald Trump has left. Deflection and scripted campaign speeches dressed as addresses to the nation. So don't expect his State of the Union to be a great speech either. It will be a hot mess, and it will be very much like what we heard last week, but a lot longer. And he will try to sell the same things that people in America are no longer buying. He's going to try and say that cost of living has gone down. He's going to try and say that we are being transparent about Jeffrey Epstein. He's going to say that we are removing criminal aliens when the police state is wrangling up 70% of the people who don't have any criminal records. That includes legal migrants and U.S. citizens. His police state that he will try to package as an immigration crackdown when the country now knows what it really is, which is racial profiling going after people and communities of color. So keep your eyes on the news. Keep your push going with the release of the Epstein files. Keep calling your representatives and your senators to put pressure on the Department of Justice to release the files, to stop redacting, to subpoena Pam Bondi and ask for an explanation for why she has withheld so much. Why only 0.83%, less than 1% of the files that are part of Jeffrey Epstein's tranche of records, which is over 300 gigabytes of records, why are they not out yet? Why are you withholding when you've had 30-day notice to go through and make the redactions you need to make? And Pam Bondi will come up with the explanations that I just said. Ongoing investigation, national security matter, highly classified. And who is going to investigate whether it's highly classified or not? Or is Congress itself going to get the unredacted copies of these documents like the law requires? It doesn't seem like the news has come out that members of Congress and people of the committee and relevant people in authority are to get unredacted documents. We don't see that happening. We haven't heard anything about that. So what's happening with that? Call your representative, call your senators. This issue, remember, the Epstein files issue is about closure and about justice for the survivors and the victims. It is about holding accountable, powerful, and influential people who were part of Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile ring, whether that be Steve Bannon or Noam Chomsky or Alan Dershowitz or Donald Trump or Bill Clinton or anybody else or Larry Summers or anybody else who was part of that cabal. Their names need to come out and they need to be held accountable, and the survivors need to be able to point and say, yes, these people abused us and we are still standing today because we are powerful women and we have come out and spoken truth to power so that this does not keep happening to other little girls across the country and the world. That's what this release is about. That's what this administration, this regime is withholding from the survivors and from the victims. And we, as people of America who have basic decency, must rise up and must call for the release of these names and these people who abused these children for so many years. With that said, thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.